Welcome to another episode of Qualified Immunity, where two people with years of experience inside the legal system attempt to make America sane again. My name is Greg Engel. I spent 9.5 years in a law enforcement capacity with multiple certifications over multiple years doing multiple different jobs within side of law enforcement. My co-host, his name is Lucas Cohen. He's currently a third-year law student at a very prestigious university and will soon graduate to become an accredited member of the Oklahoma Bar Association. Lucas, say hi to the world.
Hi, everybody.
Tonight we're gonna start what I would call a mini series of we're gonna cover every person running for president, at least every. I don't say viable because there's like two viable options and they both suck. But tonight we're going to cover, or today, whatever, etc., etc., etc.
I completely disagree. I'm sorry.
What? They're both idiots?
Oh, no, they're both obviously idiots. I think there's more than just two viable options, though.
There's no way. I know what you're going to say, and no. She's not viable. I'm voting for her, but she's not viable. Anyway.
Completely disagree.
Tonight, okay, I'll dive down this rabbit hole with you for about 0.7 seconds. How many electoral...
time's up. Sorry. I'm sorry I had to do that. Continue.
How many electoral states is she going to win?
Is she going to win?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't looked at the numbers.
Between 0 and 0?
I mean, if I just had to pull a number out of the air, which is what it would be.
0 and 0.
I would probably say 1, maybe 2. I mean, I assume you're talking...
Name the state she could win.
New Hampshire, Vermont.
I'll hold my breath while Joe Jorgensen attempts to win the state of that Bernie Sanders is from. That's all I'm going to say.
Hey,
that's all I'm going to say.
Those mountain people,
You would have me sold faster in West Virginia.
They might. I doubt it. They might.
I doubt it, but they might.
They're going to be very pro-labor, which Jorgensen is not necessarily anti-labor, but Donald Trump in 2016 ran a very strong pro-labor campaign, basically.
Donald Trump is the most populist president in the United States.
History.
Ever.
He is.
Just period, ever. Anyway, I digress. We're going to this episode is going to be about Donald Trump because we're going to start with the guy who holds the office. We're going to start with the current president. We're going to go through his history and we're going to talk about some things that are slightly controversial.
Well, on here? Really?
Yeah, no way. We never talk about controversial things. Because God forbid somebody chastise Daddy Trump. I'm just saying, like you and I would lose thousands of Facebook friends right now. And we're probably going to after this episode.
I thought you already had.
Oh, I already have. I've already lost a bunch. There's very few cops left on my Facebook.
Yeah, but that's not a Trump thing, is it? I mean,
it kind of is.
Is it really?
Yes,
because
there was always that backdrop of Obama didn't support the police and Trump does.
Oh. Okay.
Trump's the law and order president.
I hate. There are certain things that I just hate reading like on campaign websites, like Law and Order or Rule of Law. It's like, oh, come on, quit licking boots.
It's working. But first, before we start diving into Donald Trump, I'm going to read. There was a man killed in Texas, and his name was Garrett Foster. And there's multiple different accounts of what happened, etc., etc., etc. That being said, I'm going to read a comment or a disposition thereof of somebody who was there. So these are not my words. These are not my comments. This is from somebody who was on the ground and understood what was going on at the time. If you don't know this backstory, Garrett Foster was killed at a Black Lives Rally protest, and there are mixed reviews. He was carrying an AK-47 variant, and somebody attempted to run over protesters, and Garrett Foster approached the vehicle. All of that we know to this point to be 100% accurate and 100% true. There are varying accounts of what happened when he approached the vehicle. Some accounts say he pointed the weapon at the driver. Other accounts say the weapon was never pointed at all. So,
I've even heard accounts that his firearm was just discharged at some point.
yeah,
I don't.
I can tell you that's 100% false.
Yeah.
That AK-47 was never discharged. There was 100% never a round fired. For at least from his weapon.
Right.
I mean, obviously there were rounds fired.
Right.
One thing led to another. Garrett Foster ended up being shot multiple times by that driver, and I don't think he died at the scene, but he died shortly thereafter. With that being said, this is an account from somebody who was on the ground. Yesterday, some protesters were walking along a street in Austin, Texas. There's no indication that this particular group was anything other than peaceful. Among the protesters was Garrett Foster, a young veteran who joined the Libertarian Party in 2017 along with his fiancée, a Black American quadruple amputee. In Foster's view, Black Lives Matter was about police accountability and reducing laws that cause undue government intrusion into our lives, akin to Joe Jorgensen's stance, rather than about socialism. As Foster and his fiancée protested, he carried an AK-47 looped over his chest. Protests in the streets are bad optics, and when done without public notice or permit, potentially dangerous. Cars may not be looking out for protesters. In some instances, protesters have attacked vehicles and injured those within, and emergency vehicles have been detained. America, nonetheless, has a long history of street marches and protests. Protesters blocking traffic may, in some instances, deserve arrest. They do not deserve to be intentionally run over or otherwise harmed. To this scene, a car comes, turning on red to the right, directly through the loosely gathered protesters. They walked such that they had to jump out of the way. The car then comes to a stop. The car may have struck one or more protesters before stopping, although none were seriously injured. We do not know yet whether the driver lost control, for example, due to a medical emergency, or intentionally drove into the group. The protesters then rushed towards the car. Rushing a stopped car is never a good idea. The driver may perceive that as a threat and proceed when otherwise the driver would have remained stopped. As the driver being stopped does not currently present a threat, or at least will likely present more of one if the driver feels the need to escape, there is no justification for further physical confrontation. Those in front of the car's path should move out of the way, and those behind should do the same, except for perhaps taking a picture of the license plate. That, unfortunately, is not how protesters seem inclined to deal with drivers that, in their estimation, have broken the protesters' rules or violated traffic laws or endangered protesters in some way. It is difficult to blame protesters for going to pound on the car in this particular circumstance. When a car nearly runs you and your wheelchair-bound fiancé over, the natural inclination is to at least go and thump the side of it and let the driver know you're peeved. At that juncture, the driver is being swarmed by protesters and perhaps feels threatened. The protesters are furious that the car has driven into them and perhaps feel threatened. Foster walks up to the car with his AK-47 in his hand. That was not a smart move, given that the vehicle was already stopped and surrounded, and it's incredibly important for responsible gun owners to be smart about their actions. According to the driver and possibly additional eyewitnesses, Foster pointed the weapon at him. According to eyewitnesses in some photos, it was at low ready. Apparently, the safety remained on the entire time. The driver shoots Foster 5 times and drives away. A protester with a concealed carry fires 3 times at the departing vehicle. Both drivers subsequently turned themselves in for questioning. Foster unfortunately passed away from his wounds. Assuming that Foster did not point his weapon at the driver of the stopped vehicle, he died while exercising his First Amendment and Second Amendment rights doing what he believed was right. It's an extremely tragic situation, made more so by the fact that Foster's motives and belief are unlikely to be accurately portrayed. Rest in peace, Garrett Foster. I do not believe, for one instance or aspect, that Garrett Foster's actions will ever be appropriately relayed or perceived in the media, because the media is consistently and constantly denoting anything to the libertarian aspect as reckless and dangerous and anarchy, which it is none of the above. So, with that being said, I want to extend my condolences and my heartfelt, sincere pain for the family of Garrett Foster, because I hope he doesn't die in vain. And for multiple accounts of I've heard from people on the ground, he never pointed his weapon at anybody. That being said, there will be an investigation, and in all reality, if you want to be honest, he was at a Black Lives Matter protest, and police are going to look up and say it's justified no matter what, because it was a Black Lives Matter protest. That's just how it's going to go. And somebody's going to call me up and be, no, that's not how it happens. Police are equal no matter what. Shut up. Just shut up. We both know how this is going to go. There's a level of investigation between 0 and 10, and this is going to be a -3.
Yeah.
He approached the car, he had an AK, I felt threatened. He quote-unquote pointed it at me, and click-clack. The man was a veteran. The man was a human. The man was walking up to confront a vehicle who had just attempted to run his wheelchair-bound fiancée over. I think most of us would agree. Guess what? He had a right to at least go talk. Instead, he got shot 5 times and died, in my personal belief, exercising his First and Second Amendment rights. But truth doesn't matter anymore. Truth matters when media says it does. And media truth is sanctioned and holy. Welcome to the United States in 2020. On that note, let's talk about Donald Trump. Scroll back up here. Donald John Trump, otherwise known as Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States, the 45th President of the United States, was a businessman and a television personality. Well, we'll use the term businessman lightly in this episode. Before entering politics, Trump was born and raised in Queens, a borough of New York City, and received his bachelor's degree in economics from the Wharton School. He took charge of his family real estate business in 1971 and renamed it the Trump Organization, and expanded its operations from Queens and Brooklyn into Manhattan. The company built or renovated skyscrapers, hotels, casinos, and golf courses. Trump later started various side ventures, mostly by licensing his name. He bought the Miss Universe brand of beauty pageants in 1996 and sold it in 2015. He produced and hosted The Apprentice, a reality television show from 2003 to 2015, and as of 2020, Forbes estimated his net worth to be $2.1 billion.
Wait, what year was that?
2020.
Oh,
this year.
So it's gone down significantly.
Well, I mean, if you start taking this out of like white supremacists, then your net worth generally goes down.
I think when he ran for president, it was somewhere around 3.53.
Oh, if you asked him, it was 10. Just saying. If you asked Donald Trump, it was 10 billion. Oh, you want to say something so bad, I can see it.
Yeah, but I really shouldn't say that. Like that's bad.
Go ahead. It's not like controversial or anything.
The joke in criminal defense is everybody's innocent. Just ask them.
Trump's political positions have been described as populist, protectionists, and nationalists. He entered the 2000 presidential race as a Republican and was elected in a surprise victory over Democrat nominee Hillary Clinton.
Surprise victory.
It really was.
To some.
It surprised me.
Really.
Are you kidding me? I was trying to figure out how to say Madame President.
Madam.
Madame. It's totally... It's... Okay, who makes the 911?
What?
Who makes the car a 911?
Okay. I'm curious what your answer is. But
Porsche.
Porsche?
Porsche.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. At least you're not totally nuts.
It's a Porsche.
It's a Porsche. I'm going to go get me a Porsche. All right, Jimbo. Although he lost the popular vote, he became the oldest first-term United States president, the first without prior military or government experience. His election and policies have sparked numerous protests. Trump has made many false or misleading statements during his campaign and his presidency.
There are alternative facts. Thank you very much.
I'm the Orwell fan, not you. You're a Huxley fan.
Yeah.
Trump has made many false or misleading statements during his campaign and presidency. The statements have been documented by fact checkers, and the media have widely described the phenomenon as unprecedented in American politics. Many of his comments and actions have been characterized as racially charged or racist. Okay, we're going to stop right here. Do you think Donald Trump's a racist? Honestly, no bullshit, honestly. Do you think Donald Trump's a racist?
I think he tries to be a closet racist.
That wasn't the question, counselor.
It's a qualified answer.
It's not a qualified answer. This is qualified immunity, and that is not a qualified answer. Do you believe Donald Trump is a racist?
Sure, why not?
Boy, you suck at answering. Like, for like one question, could you actually answer it honestly?
There's a movie line there. I thought you were one of the good guys. And the other guy says, I'm a logger, you idiot.
I don't think he's personally racist.
You don't think so?
No, I think he's an idiot, but I don't think he's personally racist.
I mean, those are the two options. I mean, he's either an idiot or
He's either an idiot or a racist.
I mean, I suppose there's a third option. He could be both.
Well, okay, true, because most racists are idiots.
He could be both.
I don't think he's actually racist.
I mean, I do think he's an idiot.
I think he's a marketing genius.
I think he has marketing geniuses working for him.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. He knows what he's doing when it comes to marketing. Because let's get real honest here, and we're going to get into this. The man has lost more money
Yeah.
in his business career
Yeah.
than most people make in a lifetime. Most people would make in 10 lifetimes. Like, he's not a good businessman. He does nothing but leverage banks to take their money and live nicely for a little bit, and then files bankruptcy.
So I have two quotes from my dad on that. Number one, my dad always said, you can marry more money in 15 minutes than you can make in a lifetime.
True story.
Second thing is, and this is actually not his piece of advice, he took it from somebody else. He said, you always want to borrow enough money that the bank cannot afford to let you go under.
And Donald Trump's done that.
That's exactly what Donald Trump has done.
For an entire career.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has wholeheartedly, for an entire career, borrowed enough money. Just ask Deutsche Bank. He's borrowed enough money for his entire career, his entire business career, not his political career. But he's borrowed enough money for his entire business career that they can't afford to let him go under, and they have to find somebody to take on that liability, because if they just say, well, screw it, we're going to let him go under, the bank's going with him. Like, there's a Fall Out Boy song that would perfectly match Donald Trump's business plan. We're going down, down. Sugar, we're going down swinging. Oh, there's another song, too. I think it's a Chainsmokers song that says, if we go down together. Like, welcome to Donald Trump and Deutsche Bank.
Yeah. I did hear, I don't remember what the number was, but I did hear once if he had taken all of the money that he got from his father, from his parents, he would have several times what he has now.
Oh yeah.
Like if he had just invested that in a mutual fund.
Oh yeah, but that's all he cares about is branding.
Right.
There's the narcissist. I think we can agree on the fact that Donald Trump is a raging narcissist.
Oh yeah.
But I also think you have to be 90% a raging narcissist to make it to president of the United States.
Yeah, and I think in modern times and this is, you're gonna laugh. I think the only exception to that I know of is Richard Nixon, because he couldn't handle being on camera. Like if you talk to people that knew Richard Nixon,
he couldn't handle being on camera because it was such new tech. Nixon was still a raging narcissist.
Maybe.
There's only one exception, I think, since World War II.
Are you gonna say Kennedy?
Yeah. Kennedy was not a narcissist. Kennedy was an ideologue.
Interestingly, he also donated a lot of his salary.
Yeah, he did.
Much like Trump
Yeah,
does.
he did. And I'm going to preface this with saying there's things that Donald Trump's done that I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I can see your point. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Whoever gave him a degree in economics needs to go ask for a refund.
That's why I laugh at all the scandals about people going to his business school or whatever. It's like, why would you? If you
he sucks.
If you actually paid money for that, you deserve to get ripped off. Do a little
Some
research.
people paid $35,000 for Trump University.
If I'm going to spend $35,000, you know what I'm going to do before I spend it?
Do
research.
But we're stupid.
Yeah, but okay. So I don't know. I don't think you voted for him in 2016.
No, yeah. I voted for Gary Johnson.
I didn't vote in 2016. I didn't vote for president.
You're a conscientious objector.
Yeah.
See, I can't do that. You know me. The other day, until I can't walk in and look at a ballot and not vote for somebody.
Well, in general, for you, doing nothing is never an option.
That is a very true statement.
Yeah.
I can't just do nothing.
I'm content to just do nothing.
Because how much sleep have I had right now?
I think you said 3 hours.
Maybe 3.
Yeah. But
because I tried to figure out how to render this podcast with my keyboard.
But neither one of us voted for Donald Trump in 2016. But immediately after his inauguration, I mean,
he did some really, really libertarian stuff.
He did. He was very
pro-market.
He was pro-market, pro-labor. He did end up doing it, but he was very hesitant about, bombing Middle Eastern countries, which I liked.
Well,
there were a couple weeks of hesitation, and then he gave in. And I don't know if that was playing a game or if he really didn't want to. And
there was only one legitimate Republican I think I would have voted for president.
Who's that?
I'll give you one guess at what his last name is.
One Republican you would have voted
in January of 2016, when there were 31 Republicans. Rand Paul.
Yeah,
that's it.
I think I still voted for him in the primary, even though he had dropped out.
I voted for Ted Cruz in the primary. I figure if we're gonna go Castro, we might as well at least get somebody that has good hair. But it's still the whole theory. Did you? Okay, you alluded to something. Did it really not surprise you that Trump won?
When it came down to the general, I don't think so.
Really?
I mean,
it shocked the hell out of me.
I don't want to say that I thought he would win, but at a certain point, I was like, it's going to be one or the other, and I'm not sure it's going to be Hillary. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be Gary Johnson.
You and I are both metrics people.
Yeah.
The polls were so far apart.
That's why I wasn't sure. At a certain point, the media is going to prop up their person.
I get that, but it was one of those. This was, say there's a 3% average in propping.
Oh, I think it's more than that. I think it's a lot more than that.
I think it's closer to 8 or 9.
But if the media starts backing a certain person, they can't afford to change because that means they were wrong.
But you really weren't shocked? I was mind blown on election night. Mind blown. Legitimately, I had 2 TVs running with 9 different. No, I had more than that because I had 9 on each screen. So I had 2 TVs. You saw my living room on election night. I had 2 TVs that had 9 different stations on every one. The left one was American. Yeah. The right one was foreign. And I had my iPad running, and I'm like, there's no way this is happening. Because I actually wanted to be up to see that first woman president. like Hillary be damned or not.
Right.
It's the first woman president. Like that's mind blowing for progress. But it's one of those deals of going when they called North Carolina.
Yeah.
I will never forget this. When they called North Carolina for Donald Trump, I was like, what?
I think part of the reason I wasn't surprised, and I told you this before the election, Donald Trump is the most pro-labor presidential candidate that we have this year. I told you that in 2016.
Yeah, you did. You did. And I was like...
And so when he started pulling out states like, I think West Virginia went for him.
West Virginia went for him. Carolina went for him. Pennsylvania went for him. I think Ohio did. I know Michigan did. And I know Minnesota did.
When the
Minnesota or Wisconsin. I think it was Minnesota.
When the Rust Belt and the coal states started going for him, I wasn't that surprised. I figured they probably would.
This is what I don't understand though. How does Donald Trump come off as pro-labor?
Well, he was anti-illegal immigration.
Yeah, that's...
Which is a pro-labor stance.
But he was anti-union too at the same time.
He was anti-union, but the union, look at who the union was backing. They were backing
Hillary,
which was the same old, which when you're coming out of Barack Obama doesn't make sense.
What difference does it make?
What difference does what make? Oh, yeah.
What difference does it make? At this point, what difference does it make? We're gonna do a whole episode on Hillary too.
She's not running for president
yet. The second Biden strokes out, she's going to. I'm really shocked. Here's what I'm actually shocked about. There's a Democrat that could beat Donald Trump right now.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
No, I'm not going to say who you think I'm going to say.
Oh, really?
No.
What Democrat do you think actually beats Donald Trump?
In a landslide?
Yeah.
Michelle.
Okay.
Landslide. Michelle Obama beats Donald Trump in a landslide.
Maybe.
Oh, dude, it's not even close. Like, I wouldn't vote for her, but
she might actually be more popular than Barack Obama.
She is.
Well, I mean, like in the election booth, I think she probably would.
No, wholeheartedly. She's more like right now.
Yeah. Like
people have tried to get Michelle to run. Stop. I don't know where you're going with that, but I know that Graham.
It feels so weird having a former president's wife
be more popular than the president.
No, like president, and then immediately after, like within the next decade, his wife runs for president.
Oh man, they were trying to get her to run in 2016.
Yeah, but you can't do it in 2016. You can do it maybe in 2020, but you can't do it in 2016.
I think Michelle would have won in 2016.
You think so?
Yes.
I don't.
Michelle Obama is loved.
To have
like policy aside, I love Michelle Obama.
She might be loved, but it's too awkward. You can't have,
because then it makes monarchy.
Yes. Well, a dynasty, which
at that point it's closer to monarchy.
To be absolutely fair, the Bushes had their own dynasty.
It was like the Bushes and the Clintons had their own dynasty.
I mean, you've only had one Clinton president.
This all goes back to the fact that we still put the most powerful man in the world, or the president of the United States, and make him the most powerful man in the world. That is totally abstract to what the Constitution intended the president to be.
Yeah, that's not how that's supposed to work.
That's not like it should. I tried to explain this to somebody the other day. It should not matter who the president is. It really shouldn't, because we got a big long diatribe about eliminating the Electoral College. I'm like, two cities run the country. Well, why does it matter? The president doesn't make laws. Yes, he does.
Yeah, pretty much.
Executive orders. Well, executive orders can be overturned by the Department of Justice and the Attorney General. Who's the Attorney General? Nominated by who?
Yeah.
The president. Eric Holder was never going to turn on Trump, or Eric Holder was never going to turn on Obama, just like Barr's not going to turn on Trump.
Well, not until Trump turns on him, like he has his previous.
They're still not going to.
Yeah.
Because theoretically, the Attorney General of the United States, who's its boss?
President.
The president.
Yeah.
You're going to piss off your boss? No. Sorry. It's just that's not how that works. In 1982, Trump was listed on the initial Forbes list as wealthy individuals as having a share of his family's estimated $200 million net worth. His financial losses in the 1980s caused him to be dropped from the list between 1990 and 1995. In 2020 billionaire rankings. Forbes estimated Trump's net worth at $2.1 billion, 1,001 in the world and 275th in the United States, making him one of the richest politicians in American history and the first billionaire American president, which is mind-blowing. That doesn't surprise you, really?
Well,
The
it
first billionaire American president.
depends on how you classify that. I mean, the Clintons have more than that. I don't want to say more than that. They have over $1 billion. It's just not liquid,
Personal
I guess.
net worth.
Yeah, it's not personal net
Yeah.
worth.
During the 3 years since Trump announced his presidential run in 2015, Forbes estimated his net worth declined 31% and his ranking fell 138 spots. When he filed mandatory financial disclosure forms with the Federal Election Commission in July 2015, Trump claimed a net worth of about $10 billion. How?
Is that in Monopoly money or?
The Fed's running it, so yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
However, FEC figures cannot corroborate. Ugh, I can't talk today. I can't talk any day. Corroborate. It's the 3 hours of sleep. This estimate because they only show each of his largest buildings as being worth over $50 million, yielding total assets worth more than $1.4 billion and debt over $265 million. Trump said in 2000 deposition, "My net worth fluctuates and it goes up and down with markets and with attitudes and with feelings, even my own feelings." Boy, God, my God, I wish my net worth could go up and down with my feelings.
Man, I woke up feeling like $1 million.
Brush my teeth with the bottle
Oh my
of Jack.
gosh. No.
At the door, I ain't coming back. Journalist Jonathan, what?
I'm feeling like 10 billion today. Let's just put that on that.
Exactly, my feelings determine my net worth.
That's not how that works.
Oh, but it is Donald Trump, and he has nukes now.
Oh my gosh.
Journalist Jonathan Greenberg reported in April 2018 that Trump, using the pseudonym John Barron, claiming to be a Trump organization official, called him in 1984 to falsely assert that he owned in excess of 90% of the Trump family business in an effort to secure a higher ranking in the Forbes 400 list of wealthy Americans. Greenberg also wrote that Forbes had vastly overestimated Trump's wealth and wrongly included him on the Forbes 400 rankings in 1982, 1983, and 1984. One, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Do you know what the Forbes ranking is this year?
No.
No. I mean, I bet I could name the top 2. Bezos and Gates.
Yeah.
Outside of that, and maybe 3s might be Elon.
Buffett?
There's no way Buffett's in the top 10.
You don't think so?
No. I was like, look it up. I don't think Buffett's in the top 10. And then there's the famous line. Trump has often said he began his career with a small loan of $1 million from his father and that he had to pay it back with interest. In October 2018, the New York Times reported that Trump was a millionaire by age 8, borrowed at least $60 million from his father, largely failed to reimburse him, and had received $413 million, adjusted for inflation, from his father's business empire over his lifetime. According to the report, Trump and his family committed tax fraud, which a lawyer for Trump denied, obviously. The tax department of New York said it is vigorously pursuing all appropriate avenues of investigation into it.
Hey.
What? Where's Buffett at?
Bezos, Gates. Is it Arnault?
Arno.
Zuckerberg, Buffett.
He's fifth?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Oh,
I don't
true.
know who the rest of these
But
people are.
do they count? Okay, I really want to know, when it comes to Buffett, do they count Berkshire Hathaway?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what's hilarious?
What?
Mackenzie Bezos
Yeah.
is, I don't know if she's in the top 10, but she's on this list. I mean, she's not very far down. She is up there.
Hey, you know what she did? She
married
married
more
money
money.
in 15
Yeah.
made She married more money in 15 minutes than she can make in a lifetime.
Okay, so
Oh.
Jeff Bezos is at 178 billion. Warren Buffett is at 72 billion. Mackenzie Bezos is at 58 billion.
Wow.
She's at a third of what her ex-husband is.
Wow. And all she did was divorce him.
To be fair, I know a fair amount of people that have done that, and it works out pretty well.
That's insane.
Even if they take a settlement for just a fraction.
That's insane.
Oh, Koch brothers are on there.
Really?
Yeah, they're.
Wait, didn't one of the Koch brothers just die?
Maybe. Charles Koch is 2 spots behind Mackenzie Bezos.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guarantee Charles Koch worked way harder for that money than Mackenzie Bezos did. Oh, do tell.
Daddy, from what I understand, Daddy Koch did a huge favor for his boys. I mean, that a lot of that money is inherited, from what I understand.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what I understand. That I could be wrong, but that's what I've been told.
No, I didn't know that. I honestly didn't know that. Back to the president.
Sorry.
Okay, basically, the long story short, Trump is awesome at one thing and one thing only: losing a metric shit ton of money. Like, the man has legitimately lost billions of dollars.
There's an oil field joke in there, but
oh, dude, it's not even Jerry Jones-esque. Like, the man has legitimately lost billions of dollars.
Oh man!
But we culminate this into 2016. Before being inaugurated president, Trump moved his businesses into a revocable trust. I like grew facial hair, and now I have a problem using my lips. Shut up. Trump moved his businesses into a revocable trust run by his eldest son's a business associate. According to ethics experts, measures taken by Trump did not help avoid conflict of interest as long as he continues to profit from his businesses. Because Trump would have knowledge of how his administration's policies affect his business, ethics experts recommended selling the businesses.
Yeah, right.
Though Trump said he would eschew from new foreign deals, the Trump Organization has since pursued expansions of its operations in Dubai, Scotland, and the Dominican Republic.
I'm not surprised.
Multiple lawsuits have been filed against Trump for violating the Emoluments Clause of the United States Constitution, which forbids presidents from taking money from foreign governments due to his business interests. They argue that these interests allow foreign governments to influence him. Previous presidents in modern era have either divested their holdings or put them in blind trusts. And he is the first president to be sued over the Emoluments Clause. According to The Guardian, NBC News recently calculated that representatives of at least 22 foreign governments, including some facing charges of corruption or human rights abuses, such as Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, Turkey, and the Philippines, seem to have spent funds at Trump properties where he has been president. While he's been president.
We actually studied one of those cases in law school.
Really?
Yeah, constitutional law, because it's a constitutional issue and it's not been litigated very much.
On October 21st, 2019, Trump mocked the Emoluments Clause as phony.
Phony?
Phony.
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 What does that mean? Like he doesn't believe it exists, or
I don't know. Ask the president. Just remember he has.
Yeah, I'll call him on the phone right now. See what he's doing.
Area code's 202. I think it's 202-231. I used to know the number to the White House.
The White House, not his cell phone. You're not going to talk to him.
You think the man knows how to run a cell phone? He can't even run his own Twitter.
That's probably a flip phone.
If he has one. Or he's got somebody running around as his press secretary in a short skirt, and he's going to grab. Never mind. Never mind. No comment.
Have you?
Here's the real question: How many times has Donald Trump run for president?
Run for president?
Run for president.
At least twice that I know of.
Okay, as long as you know. Most people don't know.
How many times?
Twice.
Is it twice? Okay.
Well, technically, this time it's 3. I mean, now it's 3.
Well, yeah,
but
2020 is number 3.
Legitimately. Legitimately.
What?
Oh no,
You just like the word legit.
I like the word legit.
He ran in 2012.
And apparently there's supposedly, from what I've heard, there's a drinking game involved of every time I say legitimately.
I thought it was That being said,
Well, with that being said,
I think we should retitle the podcast then.
what we titled this podcast is going to be the Craig Engel Show.
Donald Trump ran in 2012. It was the whole birth certificate issue.
No. He did not run in 2012.
Did he not?
No.
Was it 2008?
It was 2000.
Did he not run in 2012?
No, he never actually ran.
How did he get so much TV time just asking for birth certificates?
In 1989, Trump filed an exploratory committee to seek the nomination of the Reform Party for the 2000 presidential election. A July 1999 poll matched him against likely Republican nominee George W. Bush and likely Democrat nominee Al Gore showed Trump a 7% support. Trump dropped out of the race in February 2000.
The Reform Party?
The Reform Party, yeah. You know, a powerhouse in American politics.
We need to get us some of that reform.
I know, right? I want to say the Libertarian Party bought out the Reform Party. I don't know. They might still exist.
Well, it's working.
Not my problem.
Whatever
I don't care.
JoJo 2020.
JoJo 2020. God, we have to stay unbiased because we still have to do a JoJo episode.
I'm not unbiased. I'm not even
I
going to pretend.
can't stay unbiased either. 2012 presidential speculation.
Okay.
Trump speculated about running for president in the 2012 election, making his first speaking appearance at the Conservative Political Action Conference, CPAC. Sellouts. You fucking sellouts. In February 2011, giving speeches in early primary states. In May 2011, he announced he would not run.
But he still wanted to see those birth certificates.
Yes.
Was that 2012 or 2008 that he was?
That was 12. That was right. 11 and 12.
Okay. Because everybody else forgot about that issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 2013, Trump spoke again at the CPAC convention. He rallied against illegal immigration, bemoaned Obama's unprecedented media protection, advised against harming Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, and suggested the government take Iraq's oil and use the proceeds to pay $1 million each to families of dead soldiers. He spent $1 million that year to research a possible 2016 candidacy. In October 2013, New York Republicans circulated a memo suggesting Trump should run for governor of the state in 2014 against Andrew Cuomo. Trump responded that while New York had problems and its taxes were too high, he was not interested in the governorship. In February 2014, Quinnipiac poll had shown that Trump losing to the more popular Cuomo by 37% in a hypothetical.
I guess that's New York for you.
That's New York for you. According to Trump's attorney, Michael Cohen, in 2015, he sent letters to the New York Military Academy and to Fordham, threatening legal actions if the school ever released Trump's grades or SAT scores. Fordham confirmed receipt of the letter, as well as a phone call from a member of the Trump team.
It's another Cohen.
That's why I don't like your last name. I know. I'm convinced you're like CIA or something.
I do not have enough money to be working for the CIA.
Or you're one hell of an undercover operative. I mean, you drink a lot of Sonic and consistently have money. On June 16, 2015, Trump announced his candidacy for president of the United States in a bizarre spectacle at Trump Tower in Manhattan.
Bizarre spectacle? Is that really what that
That's
says?
exactly what it says. The Trump campaign... the Trump campaign initially was not taken seriously by political analysts, but he quickly rose to the top of the opinion polls. On Super Tuesday, Trump received most of the votes. He remained the frontrunner throughout the primaries. By March 2016, Trump was poised to win the Republican nomination. After a landslide win in Indiana on May 3rd, 2016, which prompted the remaining candidates, Cruz and John Kasich, who's also an idiot, to suspend their presidential campaign. RNC Chairman Reince Priebus declared Trump the presumptive Republican nominee.
Not a fan.
No comment.
He's done great things for the Republican Party. Depending on who you ask.
No, that depends on what you define as great things.
Mm. It depends on what your definition of is.
Thank you, Bill. And back to you, ABC. On July 2016, Trump announced his selection of Indiana Governor Mike Pence as his running mate. 4 days later, the two were officially nominated by the Republican Party at the Republican National Convention. The list of convention speakers and attendees included former presidential nominee Bob Dole, but other prior nominees did not attend. Like, let's face one thing and one thing only. Most of the Republican Party hates Donald Trump.
Well, I thought you were going to say most of the Republican Party hates Bob Dole.
Oh, they hate Bob Dole too.
I thought that was interesting.
Why is it interesting to you?
That he showed up and no one else did? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, no. Bob Dole was the only prior nominee that showed up.
Huh.
Yes.
Well, I guess that fits with. I mean, at the time, Donald Trump was the political outsider. Which,
my God, but
whatever.
We can't even we don't have time to go into campaign rhetoric of Donald Trump because we would legitimately spend hours on the campaign rhetoric of Donald Trump.
Well, yeah, there's the campaign rhetoric, but I was talking about every other politician in office.
Okay, I'll ask you, what's your opinion of Donald Trump's campaign rhetoric? Like, I actually want like an in-depth analysis of his campaign rhetoric. Like, from somebody smarter than me, I want you to tell your analysis of Donald Trump's campaign rhetoric.
Well, you and I have talked about Donald Trump is kind of an idiot. And I really do think he's a little bit of an idiot. I think he's, I don't know. He knows what people want. I mean, he's a populist, but he is an idiot. And I think he had some really good campaign staff. And I think his campaign management was actually pretty spectacular. For instance, he's just a good politician. I mean, he's always had good people advising him on how to run a campaign. He's just really good at it. He knows what people want to hear, and they don't want to hear BS.
But do you think he actually believes what he says? I'm like, there's the real question.
I don't know. He's dumb enough. He might.
Like, that's what I've always wondered. Does he actually believe the bullshit he pushes?
I don't know.
Like, I get it. He knows what people want to hear, and he speaks at like a 5th grade level, so everybody understands him. But does he actually believe what he says?
That's a 5th grade level.
I'm trying to be generous. I'm not the selfish dick you think I am.
I don't know if he actually believes it. It's possible he does.
If he actually believes that, that's sad.
I don't know. That's a really good question.
Do you think Donald Trump is far right?
I don't know. I'm tempted to say that Donald Trump is just an opportunist.
Me too. I don't think he knows what he believes.
Well, and I've been told this about Bill Clinton, and I think I believe this. Bill Clinton isn't anything. I mean, he's just whatever gets him what he wants.
I can see that.
Because if you remember,
he was not a Democrat's Democrat.
No, if you talk to people that actually remember his presidency, they talk about him being fairly moderate.
Like, Bill Clinton was one of the most moderate presidents in American history.
And I don't think that's because he was actually,
None of the Bushes were.
Ooh.
Well, okay, in all fairness, George W. Bush just held the office.
Yeah.
Dick Cheney was president.
Yeah. But I don't think Clinton's presidency was moderate because he is actually principled and cautious and, not extreme. I think it's just moderate because
he didn't rock the boat.
Well, yeah. He didn't want to waste political capital on principles.
And that's an actual honest statement.
And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I don't think that's a good thing.
But that's how the game works.
Yeah,
you have political capital and you have principles.
He knew how to play the game.
At what point are you willing to jeopardize political capital for principles? I'm just saying. Kennedy did it. What happened?
See, I guess I'm an extremist because
You're not an extremist. You're just non-conformative.
Yeah. At a certain, I don't think there are some things that you just can't compromise.
Is there? Okay, I'll ask this one. Because again, smarter than me, you're going to be a lawyer in like 12 seconds.
Let's say that.
You are smarter than me. Is there a world in which you would vote for Donald Trump?
If you had asked me that in
4 years ago?
in February or March of
16?
2017,
Oh,
after the inauguration,
yeah. Okay.
I probably would have said yes.
Because I was right there with you. Because I honestly felt bad for about 0.5 seconds for not voting for him.
Yeah. There were a couple months where I felt bad about
And
it.
then the bump stock ban happened. I'm like, yep.
Yeah. Once
he showed his status,
yeah. Yeah.
I want you, if you want to, and I'm going to blindside you by this, I'm not going to take credit for this statement because you were the one that gave me this statement.
Oh, dear.
If fascism ever happens in America,
Yeah.
explain it, because you're the one that gave me that statement.
If fascism actually does happen in America, which I would argue that
It's already here.
If fascism ever does ever come to America, it's going to be a Republican president.
Yes. Now, why?
Because a Democrat could never get away with it. All of the gun owners would not tolerate it from a Democrat. They will tolerate it from a Republican. They will, and they have.
And this is proof. We've had 4 years of almost 4 years of a social experiment that's proved it.
Yeah. Well, even just the past year. I
I
mean,
agree.
This year has been extreme for.
If you honestly believe that the Fed should run into cities,
Yeah. Holy cow.
Gee. Okay, I take this back. We're doing 2 episodes on each person. So tomorrow night, Donald Trump, part 2. Because we're almost out of time.
Oh.
Yeah. You're at almost 52 minutes.
I think that says a lot about how much we love talking about Donald Trump.
Oh, just wait till Joe Biden.
Oh man, I don't know if I could do 2 episodes on Joe Biden.
Joe Biden is a bona fide racist.
Yeah.
Joe, there's a question in Donald. There's a question with Trump. Is he a racist or is he just stupid or is he an opportunist? There's not a question with Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's 2020 and he's looking at people saying, well, "If you don't vote for me, you ain't black." What in the hell? Like, what in the hell? Ugh. Lucas, tell people where they can find you on social.
I'm on Twitter. I'm on the Twitter.
The Twitter.
At the Lucas Cohen.
At the Lucas Cohen.
Spelled with a C. Not with a K.
Just like Trump's attorney.
Did he get his start as an ADA? Because I could believe that.
He'd probably get to start as defense attorney.
Ugh. No. Well, maybe. You know he's a corporate attorney. You know.
You are going to be a corporate attorney too. I'm going to roll over my grave.
Hey, there's a lot of money to be made there.
Huh?
There's a lot of money to be made.
That's why you're going to be a corporate attorney. I'll be like,
and a lot of that is 9 to 5.
I've never had a 9 to 5 job.
I don't think.
Let me rephrase that. I had a 9 to 5 job one time.
I don't know.
It was 9 p.m. to 5 a.m.
I've had, I think, one night.
I've never had a 9 to 5. I've never had a Monday through Friday. Every job I've ever had has been 12 plus hours a day.
I mean, I had part-time jobs when I was in college, if that counts.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're taking, 21 hours and a part-time job, I feel like that's.
Yeah, when you're taking 21 hours in a part-time job, and I'm an overachiever.
I just didn't have a social life.
You still don't have a social life.
Yeah, because I'm working more than a full-time job.
I get that, but like, I've got to go to a different country to find somebody that is attracted to you.
Whatever. Social media.
I have to go to a different country to find somebody you're attracted to.
Social media.
Follow me on Facebook, Instagram.
List your 17 platforms that you're on. Mr. Worldwide.
Are you blushing? You're blushing.
Maybe.
Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, and LinkedIn at Greg J. Ingle, GREGJINGLE. Like, subscribe, comment on this podcast. Tell your friends about it. We have a Facebook page, Qualified Immunity Podcast. We are on every single outlet you can have a podcast on. Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Overcast. Anchor, like legitimately, it's 23 different platforms that this podcast is on. Go tell your parents about it. Go tell your mom about it. Go tell your niece about it. Go tell your friends about it. Tell your husband and your boyfriend about it. Tell your wife and your girlfriend about it. I want you to tell everybody about this podcast because we're not stopping until somebody stops us. Period. Come at me, bro. So, until this heart stops beating and my last breath is out of me, this doesn't stop. And we're going to keep taking on people, and we're going to be taking on society, and we're going to be taking on stupid-ass laws. And we're going to do an episode this week about a cop that decided to drag somebody out of a car for no fucking reason. Holy crap, it's the first time I said fuck this episode. But we're not going to stop till somebody stops us.
Are you feeling okay?
That's how this works. I'm exhausted. And I'm aggravated that I can't just go out and buy a new computer. But we're not going to stop till somebody stops us. It's how it works. It's how we work. I just say it louder than he does. So, go tell everybody. Like this podcast. Subscribe to this podcast. Review this podcast. Comment. YouTube. Facebook. We're everywhere. I'm everywhere. He's just special. With that being said, he's a hermit. We get it. But with that being said, we're not going to stop. We're going to take this message as far as y'all allow us to take it, and then we're going to times it by 10. So we don't stop until we can't do it anymore. But with that being said, I'm going to end this podcast. Do you have a sign off yet? Oh, God, never mind.
No.
Okay, good.
We're still working on that one.
By 2020, by the next presidential election, Lucas will have a sign off. Okay, that was being optimistic.
All the primaries are done, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got until November.
Oh, my God. I meant 2024.
Oh, okay.
By the next presidential election.
I mean, if you're giving me 4 years.
It's going to take that long. Just like it's going to take that long for you guys to get across the border. But with that being said, I'm going to end this podcast the same way I end every single podcast with my favorite quote in the entire world from my favorite music festival. That is Tomorrowland. Live today, love tomorrow, and unite forever. Till Valhalla, guys.